Welcome back, everybody, to Wholeheartedly with
Kendall
and Galey. We are so happy. I know I say that every time, but it's legit. We are always so happy to be here with you guys and just kind of spill our whole hearts out, or our stresses, or our anxiety. And what's happening today, I think, is very apropos what we're going to talk about, because we're heading into like real fall season. It's about to be November, and that means holidays, stress of having to get gifts for everybody, stress of having to have your dish that you're bringing to the Thanksgiving or to the Christmas or the Hanukkah or whatever it is that you're doing. You have so much stuff on your plate, and it creates a lot of anxiety, a lot of stress. And also, if you're in a colder state, unlike me, you're kind of stuck, like bunkered indoors. So you don't have the same, vitamin D you're getting from the sun and being outside. So as somebody who runs like high stress 24/7, I run hot. It has become paramount to my survival that I have tools and tricks to bring my anxiety down, to carve out me time. And then I think it's really important what I'm doing with that me time. And I feel like one of my best friends, Kendall, is the guru of understanding like self-love, self-care, the importance of movement with your body. I mean, you built your entire empire around literally moving your body and taking care of yourself and recovering from anxiety and things that are in your head, how to get that out.
Still in recovery. It's a full-time job. It doesn't ever go away. But yes, I think what you're saying is like we have coping mechanisms and strategies that like help make it better. And that's really what's important. Like I hate to do this. My last name is Tool, and it's not going to change. I built my brand off of like, I literally thought one day, seriously, I was like, oh, I'm going to get married one day and I'm going to take somebody's last name. And then I realized, oh, I built my business with my last name and it's not going anywhere. But I love it for my dad because we're keeping the legacy alive. So good for you, Aquadad. Rick we're keeping the Tool name going. But yeah, no, I'm with you on that. I think I've been thinking a lot about you though, because you've had so much go on. We don't need to totally recap, but for those of you who haven't recapped, Galey's literally been through, I think what we would call like a Saturn return, which usually happens when you're like 30 and everything kind of goes to absolute shit. So Galey went through a lot with obviously the passing of her beloved sweet baby angel Charlye, who we miss and love dearly. And also you went through a breakup, like you're launching all these new really fun products that I'm not going to talk too much about because that's your jam. And I can't wait for them to hear about what's coming up next. But you've been through a lot. So like, what have you been doing? I know that you're a runner girl, bless, because I'm not. I know running's important to you, but like, how have you been managing with all the crazy?
I haven't. The answer is I haven't. I wake up every morning and I look in the mirror and I'm like, girl, you look tired. You look really tired and I need extra concealer. And I'm watching makeup tutorials to figure out how to do my makeup better. Because
Gen Z will fix it. They know. Yeah, they know the tricks.
There are tricks, but like they're still not working. But what's interesting is having been a runner my whole life. I mean, I run almost every day. And I think that you get to a point of no return, but also not the same level of benefit, if that makes sense. Like running is not enough to bring. Yeah, my body has very much adapted to it. I don't even sweat. Like this is not like a humble brag. This is just when your body is used to doing the same movement, the same function every day for so long, you're not really tricking your muscles anymore. You're not creating new memory pathways and you're not building on like muscles that are torn down because they're so in line with that exact movement over and over and over.
We're in stasis. Yeah, that's part of your MO. Like your body, I love what you're talking about. Thank you for saying this. I'm nerding out. So a lot of people don't realize like when they hit plateaus in a weight loss experience or when they hit plateaus and they're like, I lift all the time. I'm not seeing the same strain on my body or the same like endorphin release. And what's really cool about the human body is that it's always seeking stasis. Like it's seeking to adapt to some new level. So when you input the same movement pattern, sometimes you feel like you plateau. And like same thing for me. Like I was riding that Peloton bike. at least 10 to 14 times a week. Everyone's like, how come you don't sweat? I'm like, literally, I have sweat down my crack. I have sweat down my back. And Botox helps with the lack of sweat on the face because it really does stop you from sweating too much. But other than that, your body gets used to it. So yeah, so finding new ways, new challenges, you kind of always have to level up and grow with what's actually going to provide that endorphin release.
Yes, exactly. So I wish I could sit here and say, yeah, running is a great outlet for me. No, that's just my status quo. Like in the same way you wake up and you brush your teeth, I wake up and I go for a run. Like your teeth aren't getting extra whiter just because you're brushing them every day. They're just staying the same level of clean, right?
Yeah.
So running isn't really bringing down my stress or anxiety just because I'm still running every day. I will say though, when we were filming season 1 of our show, I did not have the time for like 6 months. I could barely ever run because I was constantly in production meetings or ordering or whatever. And I had my Goldman job and I was running on empty. So I didn't run. And after like 6 months of not really running regularly, when I got back into it, I was like, ooh, why do I feel like the day just got better? I would finish the run and I felt lighter. I felt energized. I felt ready to tackle whatever it was. And also my mood. Like I was just a happier Galey.
Yeah.
I was a better version of myself. But now that we haven't been filming for a year and I've been running every day, that boost is gone. And so I found myself really trying to pay attention to what makes me feel good when I'm doing it. And what's hard is that was always my dogs, like Charlye and Patch, and walking them and playing with them and bathing them and making food for them. And so when I lost Charlye, I really was like, whoa.
Like, what do you do to fill kind of that need, right?
Yeah. And so what it comes down to is I don't have a nervous system. I am a nervous system. Like that is me.
You are an exposed nerve.
I straight up, when like you get that zinger when like the dentist is like cleaning or you're doing whitening strips and you get like a zinger on your tooth. That is my whole body every day. I'm just like zinging. I'm zinging and zanging. And so I need ways to cope. And what is actually so interesting is that so many of you guys, and thank you so much for all of the shares on our last few episodes and all of the comments. And I see, even if I can't respond to all of them, I try to read as many as I can when you send us DMs about an episode and what you thought. And so many of you actually inspired me because you were telling me like every time I listen to your podcast, I feel like motivated to do something for myself. And so I'm cleaning out a closet or I'm cleaning out my fridge or I'm folding laundry or something. And it got me thinking like
folding laundry with podcasting is real. Yep.
Oh,
it's so helpful. I hate it. Like I hate with a capital T folding laundry. I will wash it. I love doing the loads of laundry. I love sorting it. I get joy from that. But folding it and putting away is the final step of my ADHD that just does not like it. And it gets moved into little piles. And poor Alex, now that we're pretty much living together full time, well, we are in DC and traveling around, he's like, hey, babe, can we fix some of the piles? It's like stressing me out. I'm like, oh my gosh, you're right. And he's so nice about how he asks. But it's true. Like being able to sometimes multitask when we do the things that don't like light us up is very helpful. So listening to a conversation, or like I love to call people while I'm doing chores or listening to podcasts. So hopefully, in fact, if any of you currently, as you're listening to this, are folding laundry, I just want to say I see you and I'm really proud of you. And I know this sucks because it's so annoying to fold and have to put it away and do it all the time. It's like a never ending cycle. So sorry, that was my tangent about just the annals and bannals of like having to do laundry and trying to find other ways through it. But it's true. Like when you feel like you're not doing things alone, it's so much more enjoyable, right? Like we're communal people. We need to have those interpersonal connections. So however we can get them, especially in a world that's going so isolated, so digital, is incredibly important. And we can use technology and the positives of it to make sure that we're pouring back into ourselves and getting those little bits of endorphins.
Yeah, totally. And what she's saying is you're never alone, guys. We are in the laundry fight together. I feel like the women of the household usually end up doing the laundry. And if you're like me and you live alone, it's up to you. So I have a very real laundry question for you though, because as we know, I have CDO, And one of the things that I'm obsessive compulsive about is efficiency, which is why one of my biggest icks in life is when I see somebody doing something that can be done in a more efficient way. One of my biggest arguments with Dale was because every time we went to feed the dogs, like you just pick up their bowls, you walk it across like to the other side of the house where the dog food is saved.
Yeah.
Because it was the only place it would fit. You fill the bowls and you bring it back. But he would take a cup, walk all the way across the house, get a scoop, bring it all the way back, dump it in the bowl, and then bring it back and then drop the cup back in. And I was like, you are doing unnecessary trips back and forth, back and forth. You could do this in one take. And he's like, well, what if I enjoy it this way? And I was like, I know you don't. You are just lying to make a point. And I'm like, you know that's inefficient. And so anyways.
Efficiency queen, Galey Alex.
Seriously. So the laundry efficiency question, this is real talk. As soon as you said you fold it and you put it in piles, I was like, oh no, this is friendship ending.
You all know I am at the forefront of fitness and always training my body, but I am so concerned not only with how I train my body, but with what I put in it. So if you're like me, you probably don't trust your tap water. And so it's important to me to work and to have the best filter possible to create the cleanest and most effective hydrating water that I can. That's why you've got to check out AquaTrue. AquaTrue purifiers use a 4-stage reverse osmosis purification process, and their countertop purifiers work with no installation or plumbing. It removes 15 times more contaminants than ordinary pitcher filters, and they're specifically designed to combat chemicals like PFAS in your water supply. Just one set of filters from their classic purifier makes the equivalent of 4,500 bottles of water. I can truly taste the difference compared to my old water filter, and I got it delivered straight to my home. It was so easy to set up. AquaTrue comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee, and it even makes a great gift. So today, our listeners receive 20% off of any AquaTrue purifier. Just go to aquatrue.com. That's AQUATRU.com and enter code WHOLEHEART at checkout. That's 20% off any AquaTrue purifier when you go to aquatrue.com and use promo code WHOLEHEART. Enjoy purified water, and trust me, it even makes that cold brew and the iced tea taste so much better.
I love a great deal as much as the next guy or gal, but I'm not going to crawl through a bed of hot coals just to save a few bucks. It has to be easy, no hoops, no BS. So when Mint Mobile said it was easy to get wireless for $15 a month with the purchase of a 3-month plan, I called them on it. Turns out it really is that easy to get wireless for $15 a month. The longest part of the process was the time I spent on hold waiting to break up with my old provider, and we know how tricky breakups can be. To get started, go to mintmobile.com/wholeheartedly. There, you'll see that right now, all 3-month plans are only $15 a month, including the unlimited plan. To get this new customer offer and your new 3-month premium wireless plan for just $15 a month, go to mintmobile.com/wholeheartedly. That's mintmobile.com/wholeheartedly. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/wholeheartedly. $45 upfront payment required, equivalent to $15 a month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Speed slower above 40 gigabyte on unlimited plan. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. See Mint Mobile for details. Okay.
Give me tips. I'm ready.
So here's what happens. What happens is people get the stuff out of the dryer, and then they like to put it in little piles, like in their laundry room or wherever. And then they go ahead and individually fold like all of the shirts. They wrap all of the socks together. They do the pants, and then they bring it to their room. In my case, I have to go upstairs and then into my bedroom, my closet. What happens now is you set all of the piles back out in your closet to then touch each thing again and put it in.
Yeah, it's that other step.
It's actually so much faster to just put everything in like a bin, carry it up, fold it, put it away, fold it, put it away. Because what happens is if you're folding it all together downstairs and bringing it up and setting it out, you're now having to pick up each shirt twice. You pick it up the first time to fold it.
Okay.
Then you go upstairs and you have to pick it up again to put it away.
Which that's
but
the
if
part
you
that
were to
pisses
just
me
put
off.
it,
because then I have to refold it almost to fit in the drawers in a nice organized way. Because I like stuff
why
color-coded.
Why are we out here killing time like it's not the most valuable asset we have? Put it all in a basket.
Yeah.
Bring it to your closet. Take the shirt out, fold it, put it in the drawer. You've only touched it one time.
Got it. Yeah, and true. And then if you're going through the pile in the bin, right, or whatever your laundry bin that you carry up the clean stuff with, right, technically you can just go and sort out all the shirts. You know which ones are your shirts. Clearly, you know which ones are your underwear. Mine look like little pieces of string that have no business. I'm actually shocked, for the record. Okay, this is so messed up. Can I just like admit something? I forgot one of my hair ties broke. I'm here in Newport Beach, by the way. I have some wild stories. I saw Vicky Gunvalson from The Real Housewives of OC. Do you watch?
I know who she is, yeah.
Woohoo, whoop it up. Yo, there was like this private club at the Pendry that I was at with friends who live down here. They're the nicest couple. Actually, she's got this epic true crime podcast. If you guys know Annie Elise and Seriously.
Oh, it's so good.
She's so good. She is
it's so good.
Good. And she actually gave me some really cool podcasting tips. So just like girl to girl, she's such a badass. Her husband, Jeremiah, and I have been friends and worked together from like our Rumble days. And so now we're both Lululemon ambassadors. I helped get him hired at Peloton for a time to be our contractor and like our consultant for all of the boxing content because he's an incredible boxer. And now, casual, he's an ultra marathon runner because that's normal. Like, they're so badass. They have 2 cool kids. Like,
you told me about her podcast.
Yes, you guys listen.
I have a feeling you're about to talk about how you used a thong as a hair tie.
How did you read my mind?
Because I know you so freaking well.
Do. Okay, guys. So I learned this from the Pamela Anderson documentary, and I'm gonna say this slaps. It's better than normal hair ties. Okay, it's got to be a G-string. It's got to be one of those little slinky winky dinkies. But you know when you get to the point where like, maybe this is gross. I don't know. But it's washed. It's fine. Like it's all good. But when you're trying to put your hair up, and especially into like a messy bun, the best thing to do is to take the G-string and like flip it on itself so it's half the size. And then when you take your hair, you loop the hair through. You flip it again, loop more hair through, and then you have all these extra like strings so you can tuck the little pieces or pull pieces out. And it's like the perfect, sexy, messy updo. I'm telling you, game changing.
What did I just hear? What happens with the little triangle crotch area?
It kind of just folds in on itself because you know it's tiny anyway. And it works. And I think, listen, the way that I'm telling you, I literally have in my Amazons, like in my little cart, I have a bunch of like Amazon G-strings, like the Skims dupes, because I'm not going to put a Skims G-string into my hair because those are too nice and I like to wear them. So I'm just going to get some Skims dupes from Amazon and use those as hair ties literally from here on out. Game changing.
I like it. I like it. We're just, we're out here doing like God's work. We're just helping the people. We're just giving them all the best advice, all the tips and tricks. You're welcome. Speaking of putting your hair up, so I'm going to ADHD for a second.
Go.
I'd like your friend analysis on what has happened in my life because ever since Charlye passed away, I have hardly worn any hats, like no baseball hats. Like I go to the store, I go on a dog walk. I have to do it on the run because like my eyes are blue and they're really sensitive.
Yeah, you have super sensitive eyes. You're squinting all the time. I remember on our shoot, you were like, I can't see. I'm like, you poor baby. Like this is.
I know. Honestly, I think either the hat did it to me or I started wearing hats because I'm so sensitive to light and I like can't see any blue light. It's really bad.
Yeah.
So I'm wearing it right now actually because this light is killing me. But I have not been wearing any hats. And every time somebody comes over to the house or something, they're like, oh, where's your hat? And I'm like, I haven't worn it in like a week. But ever since I lost Charlye, it's like I'm like
you don't need it.
And it's not that I don't need it. It's that I'm like angry at it. Like I don't want it. Like I resent it or something. Like oh, you make me feel claustrophobic and I don't like how it feels on my head. And like I just don't want to wear a hat. And I don't know what that is. Like what's happening.
I think it's notes on growth in a lot of really good ways. Like I love that you wear a hat. It's such a huge part of who you are. And like obviously you wear hats. You're always covered in dust and debris and that like your hat, you wearing the hat was like you in your DIY Galey Alex design persona, right? It's like that was like your alter ego. Because then when you were at work,
literally
at Goldman, like you didn't wear a hat. It was very professional. And it was actually kind of weird to see you in the professional setting because I've always known you with the hat. Even when you would come to Rumble, I'd see you with a hat on. And so I think what's kind of interesting is maybe like the two parts of your world are now converging. You're fully letting go of like the fact that you needed quote unquote like an alter ego to build this next chapter of your life. And I don't know, it's kind of what I said. I really think like Charlye was such a growth point for you through all of those changes and challenges in your life. Maybe that now that she's passed on and you're feeling solid, even though you're heartbroken, but you know you guys are still connected. Like maybe you feel safe enough to like not have to wear the hat anymore or have the persona anymore. That's my psychobabble analysis. I don't know.
Maybe. I mean, that is the question that I get more than any other question on social media is why do you always wear a hat? And they're so mean about it. And
Just with a hat, like relax, people.
For real though, I do want people to not either know how I look or focus on how I look. And I want them to focus on what I'm creating and the beautiful room or whatever. It's why most of the videos are shot from behind where you're not even seeing my face looking at the camera. Yeah. And I definitely never do like talking tutorials where I'm talking to the camera. Like it about killed me doing a TV show where I had to host it and literally talk to camera every episode, all episode. It gave me so much anxiety. Like I'm actually more of a behind the camera person and I like the editing and the creating part of it. So the hat kind of allowed me to keep functioning so that I wouldn't have to stress about what I look like. But also I don't want little girls who are on social media and it's so much about how people look and I want them to see that like you can build something with your talent and your skill set and your creativity, and your value can be based in what you're doing for others and not how you look.
True.
So I've just been very consistent about that. So I will continue to wear my hat on social media, but in my personal life, like I just don't want to wear it at all. It's really bizarre. So maybe that.
I have gorgeous hair, and I think letting it be. You know what you're saying though? It reminds me of Billie Eilish. She went through this whole transformation in her career that I thought was really fascinating. Early on, like when she first came on the scene, she wore very baggy clothes. She wore literally oversized T-shirts.
Yeah.
You did not know her body type, and you couldn't see it. And she has a very feminine, very curvy, beautiful body. And it's been really interesting. She's talked about it actually, about how she didn't want people to look at her and sexualize her because of her body. And she wanted people to focus on her music and what she was doing and what she was saying. And I think also, too, being a young minor woman in the film and entertainment industry and music industry, it's a level of and layer of protection. Everything we know that's coming out about how corrupt and awful and disgusting the music industry is, I totally respect that. But it was interesting when she started showing her body, immediately people took it to the nth degree and made it like, oh, like she's acting like, I hate the word harlot. They're like, oh, she's like showing her sexuality, or, you know, she's very chesty. She's got a beautiful feminine body. And people were so focusing on that. And she didn't want that to happen. But I remember she was at the Met Gala and she had this beautiful corseted dress on because it followed the theme. And she looked stunning. And she was so in her curvy feminine element. And people had a problem with that too. And so I think at a certain point, you just have to realize as women, someone's always going to critique you for something. Like I had some dude come after me on my DMs yesterday, and I talked to Alex. We were on our way to dinner with our friends that I told you about. And they were just bashing me and like saying that I'm a false person and this, that, and the other. And I'm just like, look, nobody, as a woman, it is your body. It is your choice. What you do with it, what you poke prod with it, how you color your hair, what you put on your body, how you pierce it or don't pierce it. And I think we need to just respect that that's ever evolving, right? Like how you want to present in public can change. How you want to present in your professional settings can change. And that's up to you and where your personal comfort level is. And it's no one else's right or opinion to tell you how you need to show up. Like if one day, you know, Nicki Minaj wants to, or, you know, Meg Thee Stallion wants to be super covered up, people are going to be like, you're, you know, objecting what your brand is. It's like, no, she felt like doing that. Let her live. So I don't know. I think like you don't have to subscribe to either.
It's interesting. I didn't think of it myself in this way, but when you describe it for Billie Eilish, I was kind of thinking it sounds like she wanted to prove herself first and that she has talent and can make it without having to use her looks or her body. So she did the baggy, oversized thing. And and she always has, you know, a hat or glasses on. Like she also is kind of covering up. And so maybe it's like once she like feels like she made it and she proved herself, now she can actually express herself how she normally would, which is maybe just wearing normal fitting clothes. But that's, you know, a huge departure from what she was doing previously. And I think maybe part of me is feeling that way too. I'm about to launch rugs, lights, furniture, wallpaper, all of these things. And I've worked so hard on this. And maybe it's kind of like, you know what? Like I proved myself. I worked really, really hard. I did all this. Now nobody can say I did it because of how I look. But I don't think that's me though. I really think it's that I don't know. I'm struggling with this, guys. I'm struggling.
Well, I think you don't have to have all the answers. I think what's good is follow the feeling, follow the the change and the shifts. And I think when you're growing and evolving and changing, like the way that you show up, the way you present in the world shifts. Like same thing with me. I remember when I got hired at Peloton, Cody, he wasn't wrong, but I grew up in Los Angeles, right? So I grew up that it's all about, there's a lot of vanity, a lot of appearance. It's a lot of like how you show up. And part of what I built in fitness was like, I was like this badass chick that also was attractive and, kind of played into this archetype, but it never really felt like me because it wasn't silly and funky and a little quirky and off base. But I knew that was kind of the role I had to play, especially on Instagram at that time. Was anything overtly like sexual? No. But was it like, it was a lot of like posing and a lot of images of myself where, I would look, it just wasn't as human, I think, as how I was. I remember Cody was like, listen, we have to like scrub the LA off of you, which I thought was interesting. And it was a little rude to me at first, but at the same time, I appreciated the push to just let myself be seen more. And so what's funny, I always would wear a super winged eyeliner, like very winged out black, which I don't think black looks good with my coloring. I've learned this now. Like I would do like a dark brown now, but I would wear black eyeliner, winged, like full, like Kylie Jenner lip, full beat, lots of bronzer. I still love bronzer. I'm never going to give that up. That's just my favorite thing. But I would be much more done up. And it was funny that you're saying this because on the plane flying out from DC here to California, lately I've been wearing no makeup. Like my skin is so much better than when I quit Peloton. It is literally 10 million times better to the point that the same makeup artist that saw me on the last Lululemon shoot was on this shoot that I did. And she's like, girl, what have you done with your skin? It looks insane. Like it looks so healthy and so amazing. And I realized too, like I'm now okay to be barefaced in public. Like I don't feel embarrassed. I don't feel like I have to put on makeup to feel beautiful. I feel confident in myself, even if I have a zit or even if like I look a little pale or maybe I have bags under my eyes. I'm cool with it. Or like people will come up and be like, oh my God, nice to meet you. Or like they want to take a photo and I'm not looking my hottest. I don't give a crap. Like I'll take a photo with you. Let's do it. And even if it gets posted somewhere. And I think it's part of that growth when you recognize that you don't have to adhere to these standards and structures for what makes you valuable as a woman. And I would love for society to get to a place where we don't have to cover our bodies and we don't have to present a certain way or be demure in any way, shape, or form to be respected. I think we're getting there. I think there's a lot of progress being made on that front. But yeah, whenever you find yourself changing and it's out of the ordinary, I always think it's for your favor. So I'm proud of you for that. I think it's great. I'm excited to see more of your hair.
Well, I'm proud of you too. Do you think that you wearing no makeup and just kind of showing up without feeling like you need to put any sort of mask on or change how you look in any way, do you think that is a result of kind of taking your power back and leaving something that wasn't serving you anymore, which was, at Peloton and like doing your own thing, like working for yourself and not somebody else? Like, do you think that is kind of what gave you this big change in how you feel about yourself, just being yourself?
I actually think that's a huge part of it. I think part of, as much as I loved the time with Peloton and especially the community, I still love that. But I did feel like I had to uphold a certain standard and certain expectation because there was a lot of control with what I would be able to do outside of the platform. And in a lot of ways, it felt really binding and it felt like I had to play the archetype or I had to play the role that they wanted me to play. Because at a certain point, no matter when you're with, I think any company, I think all of us can feel this, whether it's public facing like that or not, you become enmeshed in like what their culture is, especially when you're spending so much time with it. And you recognize you're like, wait, I'm different or I'm evolving or I'm growing in a way that doesn't serve what they want me to be anymore. And so it's really nice to wake up in the mornings and like roll out of bed and go to the local coffee shop in Georgetown and not have makeup on and say hi to people and feel normal that way. Or, wear clothing that I wouldn't normally wear or not have to worry about like, how is this going to look on camera or what's someone going to say about how I'm presenting and all of this. And yeah, I think it is. I think it's freedom that like, this is me. Like, I'll be honest about it. I talked about it. I did a Q&A and people were like, do you have lip filler? I'm like, yeah, I do. I got it like 8 months ago and I dissolved some of it because it kind of migrated a little bit. And I have it and I don't mind it. And it's something I did for me. And that can be a normal conversation. It can be your thing. It cannot be your thing. I feel like I can finally talk about things now and like really show up as myself and be like, look, if it's for you, great. If I'm not for you, that's totally fine too. But I know that I'm doing it on my terms. And it's so freaking empowering.
It is. And I think the most empowering thing is to not feel like you need to be everybody's favorite.
Yeah.
You know, like you could be what you think is the best dish at a restaurant, but I guarantee everybody that comes in there is not going to say that is the best dish in the restaurant, and they're going to order something different. Otherwise, every restaurant would only serve one dish.
Yep.
Everybody's
and it would be pasta, but yeah.
Like with extra cheese for Kendall.
Yeah.
But like everybody's got different flavors and things that they gravitate towards. And like, I don't know. I really, that's something I've always struggled with, is because I'm such a pleaser and I just want everyone to be happy and I want no confrontation. I want everyone to like me. I don't need to be their favorite. I just don't want them to not like me. And as a result, I kind of just have lost myself. But in the last few years, especially after leaving Goldman and kind of doing what you did, where you just like, you're not working for somebody else's dream anymore. You're working for your own.
Yeah, and you're responsible.
And every time I get a brand deal, I don't have to run it through Goldman for approval.
God, I don't miss that.
Say yes or no. Yep. You know, like you have this different level of freedom that until you've been in the corporate world and then out, you almost don't realize how engrossed in it you were. I would catch myself talking like all the people I work with. I still catch myself on this podcast. I listen back and I'm like, oh, I don't know exactly what year and what person said that word, and now you use it all the time. So, for example, at Goldman, one of our, like, the head managers, whenever he was presenting, he started to do this thing where instead of saying like or okay, he would say right. And he talks and he's like, right? And then da-da-da-da, right? And then we need to go out and we need to, right? And now I stay still. You talk like each other, use the same words, you have the same diction that you're pulling from, and it's like this whole corporate incest thing that you're in.
It's group thing, because we're all a byproduct of the people that we're closest to. So I think that's where a lot of people can really struggle with their identity when they've been at a company for a long time, or that company's not healthy for them, because that's the only stimuli they're receiving and giving back is to people that aren't serving them, or it doesn't feel authentic to them. So I think it really is important, considering how much time we spend at work, like that you're in a work environment that's going to be good for you. And if it's not good for you, or if it is toxic, or you just feel like you can't be yourself there, it's okay to find something different, because the cost of it is that it's going to cost your own identity and your own self-worth and your own connection to who you truly are. And that's never a negotiable. That's never something that you should be giving out for free.
And I think anytime you're living with those feelings, it's compounding like interest. It's just building and building inside of you, but it's not in your best interest.
Yeah. And it adds so much stress.
Yes. And so it's really important that we have these things that we can go to, as I have found out the hard way recently, that we go to so that it doesn't get worse or lead to something like depression, or in my case, you know, having OCD and all the unhealthy rituals come back, and having had an eating disorder, I don't want that to come back. So it's really vital for me that I am very in tune with my anxiety and my stress and how to channel it in a healthy way.
Do you self-audit? Like, do you ever write down like where your stress levels are, or like keep track of anything? Or do you just kind of notice from your personal behaviors and how you're feeling that, oh, maybe it's time to like go back to some of my tools and my mechanisms that help me in times where I get high stress?
I would say I self-audit in my head with a conversation. I don't really write and check things off, but I will be doing something and I'll literally sit and be like, Galey, what are you doing? Like, why are you doing this? Like, this is already clean. Stop cleaning it again.
Oh, the cleaning. Yeah, that's your sign. Just like the barefoot thing for me is like my alert.
Yeah. So when you're barefoot and you're touching rugs and stuff and you just feel like icky, like for me, when I catch myself like Windexing a shelf in the fridge that is already perfectly clean, but I'm doing it again. It's because I feel out of control. And so the only thing I feel like I can control is keeping things clean and tidy. And I have this false sense that as long as I keep it clean and perfect, then even though my head is really messy right now, if visually everything around me looks perfect and clean, I will feel better. But what happens is I do all these things and I get it all clean and I do feel good for a little bit. And then I still have the mess in my head.
Yes. Oh, the mess in the head is so real. I've had quite a bit of that the last 2 weeks. Like there's been moments when I've just been so overstimulated and so overwhelmed by 18 different things that this time is really showing me to work on those personal mechanisms that work for me. And I hate to say it, but it takes time to find what those are. Like the things that used to work for me in breathing or even just in taking space. Now that I'm with somebody and I have Alex in my life and we're together almost 24/7, which has been very helpful. I'm recognizing though, like I can be very snippy when I get overwhelmed. And for 2.5 years, really of my being single, if I were snippy, I'd be snippy at myself and it would be contained because there was no one else around to receive the burden of my bitchiness, to be totally honest. And now that there's someone there who does love and who does care about me, I'm noticing, oh, I'm not managing these emotions of overwhelm. I'm just spewing because I need to find what my new tactic is, what my new mechanism is when I'm feeling that, because it's no one else's responsibility to deal with the chaos in my head but me. Good taste is easy to spot, but it's hard to pin down. You know it when you see it, though. And in today's culture, there is no greater signifier of taste than the car that you drive. You know it's true. You want something that's sophisticated but not stodgy, daring yet classic, approachable but with a little air of opulence. And that's where the Range Rover Evoque comes in. It's an elegant SUV where sophisticated design, advanced technology, and premium materials all meet. The Range Rover Evoque introduces a new dimension of refinement and of luxury. It's got clean lines, sumptuous materials, and advanced technology that come together in the Range Rover Evoque. The Range Rover Evoque exterior is quietly bold expression of Range Rover DNA. It's got the floating roof, the continuous waistline, and a three-dimensional grille that give the Evoque its captivating character. It's a calm, minimalist cabin, which we all know we need when we're stressed out on the road. And it's anchored by a center console that has a tactile gear shifter. The Range Rover Evoque is charisma in motion. It's got sass. It's got style. It's a vehicle that elevates every journey and makes a statement wherever it goes. Build your Range Rover Evoque at LandRoverUSA.com. Wholeheartedly is sponsored by BetterHelp. Guys, think of a time recently when you didn't feel like you could be your full self, like you were hiding behind a mask. You guys know I've said this from all of my classes for years. It's time to remove the mask and step into your authentic self and let your vulnerability show. And because we are in October and it's a season for costumes and masks, I think it's very important to consider the importance of therapy so that we can accept the parts of ourselves and remove that mask to thrive.
And I'll say personally, I've been wearing a mask, well, I guess you could say my hat, and it's time to take it off because I have been going through so much between a breakup with a 2.5-year relationship and I just lost my dog, the love of my life. So therapy has not just been crucial, but essential for me lately.
So if you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online. It's designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. All you have to do is fill out a brief questionnaire and you get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists anytime for no additional charge, just in case the fit isn't exactly what you need.
Take off the mask with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/whole today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/whole, WHOLE.
What have you been doing lately that's helped you? Is there anything that you found very helpful in that?
So I'm writing my design book, and I have found that when I sit down and I just write for a few hours, it's a little bit meditative and cathartic because I cannot focus on anything else. I have to turn my phone off because if I'm having a stream of thought and I'm on a sentence and then somebody texts me and I open up the text and then I just want to check Instagram really quick, and then 30 minutes later I'm like 20 reels deep on some famous person's daughter's boyfriend, because why do I care?
Literally.
But I like almost am procrastinating so that I don't have to keep writing.
Yep.
And so I have learned that when I'm writing, I have to turn my phone off. And the other thing I noticed is that when I'm cleaning, yes, there's the OCD or CDO, obsessive cleaning, that is unnecessary. But then there's also actual helpful, productive cleaning that does need to get done every week and do the laundry efficiently.
Yeah.
And all of those things. And so what I have found is that if I'm listening to a podcast, right, that, see that, you know where that's from now.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I'm going to catch you on it now. It's okay though. It's okay. It's not a good confirmation question though. I think that can be helpful in certain times. If it's overdone, it's different. But continue.
Yeah, but I just never said it before I worked at Goldman, and now I still say it forever.
Yeah.
But I would be cleaning, but I'd be spinning in my head on something that I could have done better, or I need to reach out to this person, or and I'm just spinning on stuff that is not helpful, not productive, and 90% of it probably will never even happen.
Mm-hmm.
So why am I wasting so much energy on it? So what I have found is that while I'm cleaning, I put my notifications on silent.
Yeah.
So I won't hear the phone ring, I won't hear a text come through, and I just let a podcast play. And like Annie Elise,
true crime.
I've never been a true crime person, but I will listen to that. And I get so ingrained and engrossed in whatever they're talking about while I'm cleaning that when I'm done, I actually do feel energized because it was meditative, because I was forced to pay so much attention to this podcast.
Yeah, it's like presence is super important for you. And I think that's very true for me too. And that's what I'm noticing is like my brain goes so fast. I know yours does as well. I think most of us too, because we're used to getting so much stimulus from social media.
Yeah.
Everything is like a hook or a visual hook or this. Like we are literally engorged with content, and it's too much. And so then it infiltrates your brain in the same way, and it becomes very hard to create cultivated presence. Now, I would love to say meditation works for me. There's too much shit in my head right now. In other chapters of my life, has meditation been great? Yes. I have to take like an active role. So I'm with you. If I'm cleaning, I need something that's a story or like even reading. This is interesting. This is a new one for me. I just bought a Kindle, not a Kendall, a Kindle with an I. And I have learned the peace that's bringing me before bed. I loved reading. I always have as a kid, but I really stopped, particularly like during like my Peloton era, because I was just so exhausted and always running. There was always something else to do. And now taking a little bit of time to be present and just read a book, not a self-help book, not a mental health book, not like a here's how to, build a YouTube channel, blah, 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 but truly an enjoyable, weird, like there's fairies in this book. I don't know. Everybody's been reading it. It's the like Court of Thorn and Roses or something like that. And I'm like, this is not my usual jam, but I love it. And I'm getting swept up in like my imagination is starting to imagine things again. Like it makes me want to be creative because my brain is building a world that only I know, that only I can be a part of. And I'm like more active in it.
Have you been having more elaborate dreams since you started reading?
Yes. Actually, that's so funny you say that. Yes. And things have been more colorful. And I think I'm realizing, obviously we know like digital detoxing is important, but I think creating hobbies of ultra presence is also very important. Like I haven't played guitar or sang in a while. And Alex was at the gym last night at the hotel, and I came back early to shower before this dinner. And I started singing in the shower. First off, this shower is filled with like all travertine or marble or whatever. So the acoustics were freaking fire. In my head, I sounded like Adele. I was hitting good notes. I will give myself that because it was immediate feedback.
You are such a good singer, though. I'm confident, even without all of the reverberation.
But still, like I realized I haven't been creative. Like I haven't picked up a guitar and like really played or felt the need to sing. Or like I want to knit again. Also, we're getting into the holidays, so I love knitting people blankets. Be on the lookout, babe. That might be my holiday.
Can't wait.
Freaking love a blanket. But all of those little things, the innocuous, like, sure, maybe it's not going to drive my business forward, or it's not like content that I can share with the world. But when that becomes your main job and your main focus is like giving and providing, you have to replenish with something creative. And I think that's going to be my new focus, is creating time to create or to doodle or to sing or to just play again, because I've been so absent from that for so long. And it feels like I'm like, oh, where did she go?
That was something you said early on in the pod, was you want to like find your childlike playful self again, because you feel like you've been so uptight and so overworked and so busy, and you're just constantly in motion. And it's always for work, and it's building your dream, and it makes you a little snippy and uptight. And I think when anybody is in that state, it's impossible to be the best version of yourself. It'd be like being hangry all day long.
Yes. And I'm a bitch when I'm angry. Oh my God.
Yeah. When you don't feel good mentally, it's no different than you not feeling good, like, because you're hungry.
Yep.
Like you're irritable. And I say you, all of us, like that's a human condition. So as somebody that works a lot on homes and is an obsessive, I would even say professional level cleaner at this point, I wanted to share some of the tips and tricks and things that can be helpful if you are feeling a little bit cluttered mentally and you want to declutter and feel a little bit better. And I do recommend doing it, listening to music that you love, or especially a podcast. It doesn't have to be ours, but it'll make you think and really help take you out of whatever it is that you're spinning on. So if you want to start small, just visualize right now. Think about your catch-all drawer. That's the drawer in your house. It's somewhere. You probably have one in your kitchen. You probably have one somewhere in a bedroom. You might have one in a garage. What is your catch-all drawer? Because that is going to be the messiest, single, smallest space in your home. Take it, like hit start on the podcast and say, I have until this podcast is done to get this thing perfect.
You time block it.
Take everything out. Bring your trash bag. Throw all the stuff away you don't want. Get organizers. Make it all pretty and clean. And you close that drawer. And I'm telling you, once you close that, there's something, nobody can see that you did all this work, but you know that it is in that drawer. And in a day or in an hour, when you come back and you open that up, you're just going to feel a little bit calmer. And if you want to go bigger, forget the drawer. Think about the biggest closet that is needing some love. Maybe it's the one under the stairs or the one in the garage or one of your kids' closets, but go in and just reorganize the whole closet. Or you can do your fridge. Take everything out of your fridge.
Fridge is a good one.
Clean all of the drawers, clean all the sides, clean everything, get it perfect, and then organize everything back in, get all the labels facing forward. Maybe it's just me, but that works. It just makes me feel calmer and better, but I have to do it while listening to a podcast, because if I'm running rampant in my house with
your head is going crazy too, right?
Yeah, with like all the paper towels and the Windex.
Yeah,
I'm not okay.
I think that's a good point. I think too, and as somebody who loves an organized space but hates having to do it, I'm in that counterbalance all the time of like, I want it to look great, but the second I start cleaning something out, I have this moment when everything is a mess that it's like I feel super suffocated and it's hard for me to stay through it. So I think the podcast is really helpful, or listening to something that's not your own brain so you can override that negative voice in your head. Like midpoint, because the midpoint of cleaning scares me, but the ending is so great. I think also too, as somebody who wants to...
The midpoint scares you. That's called ADHD. That's called, I really want to do this. Let's do it. I'm doing it. Oh, I kind of want to do that more. Let's go do that.
That is exactly, because that's when I want to get to something else. Yes, because yes, it is so...
When you said the midpoint scares me, I'm like, that is your ADHD.
That is totally the ADHD.
In full force right now.
Exactly. And so I think...
Okay, sorry, I interrupted.
No, but that's, I feel so seen in that. And it's so true, because it is that midpoint. And then it's like, how do you go from that midpoint to completion? That's the most important part. And I think that is where, for me, or if anybody else experiences this and has the ADHD and they want to have that clutter release and that kind of containment and that control and that good feeling at the end of it, it's telling yourself, remember why you're doing this. Tell yourself it's absolutely possible. You're over halfway there. I think reframing the overwhelm is really important. And then also, I like to set an end date. Like, it's just this drawer. Like, minimize the task at hand.
Yes.
Because, like, for example, when I was moving out of and getting my place ready to rent in New York, I was with my mom, and I was like, at one point, I was like, I need to go out of the house because everything was all over the place. And I truly, like, I thought I was going to have a panic attack because everything to me was just mess everywhere, even though we were in the process of cleaning. And watching all the bags that I was donating pile up, it just became really suffocating. And so I went for a walk around the block. I'm a big believer, guys, 5-minute walk, 10-minute walk, and using some of the breathing techniques like the box breath, which is inhaling for 4, holding for 4, exhale for 4. Hold for 4. Little breathing techniques while you're on that walk, that reset walk, is so helpful. Came back and I told my mom, I was like, Mom, I just need to, like, as we do this, we just have to remember this is it. This is all we're doing today, just this little section, and it'll be done. And then sure enough, I had the energy to power through. So part of it's like taking that moment to walk and let the overwhelm happen, but for a quick 5 or a quick 10, and then focus on this will get done. This is it. Like minimizing the task at hand, I think is so important too when you get to overwhelm.
That is so true. I think if you just keep visualizing the end, you're almost like manifesting it, right?
It is true. You're putting it in your brain.
It's just this one task.
Yep.
I'm going to manifest me finishing this one task, and that's all it is. I'm just setting this one thing for myself. But it's also important for me, at least, I think about the nature of compounding. If you've ever had a high yield savings account,
yeah, girl.
You know that you set it, and every single month, that interest just builds, even if it's only pennies, it builds and builds. And by the end of the year, you have something really like worth showing off, right? Like you made your money, made money. If you think about the effect of compounding small amounts and how it adds up over time, think about your house that way and the organization and how that is going to feel. So for example, we'll say, okay, just today I'm doing that top left drawer in the kitchen. And then tomorrow when I'm listening to a podcast, I'm going to do that second drawer. And then day 3, I'm going to go tackle that really bad one in the garage. And you're just doing one small task at a time, but there is a compounding effect that will happen as you add each of these. And by the end of the month, you're going to look around like, I need to have a party. I'm ready for Thanksgiving.
Look at my house.
Because I need to show this sucker off. You can open up any drawer, take your pick. I'm going to be proud of it.
Yes. But I think too, we can even take that analogy and go to like other parts of life as well, right? And this is a great way to deal when you feel stressed or you feel completely buried and overwhelmed. As we're getting into the holiday season, the second Halloween happens, it's just like a time warp. And then it's like, Happy New Year. And you're just burnt out. And you're like, what the hell just happened? Also, like, you know, we don't get into politics or anything on this. It's not like our jam or our vibe, but we're coming up on a very stressful election. And I don't care where you fall. This is chaos. And so that's also creating a lot of anxiety in society. And just when you're out and about, people are on edge. And so I think it's important to take that concept of like one little win a day, make it compounding to get through things. So if the goal is to have a less chaotic holiday season, let's do little wins that compound. So maybe it's, you know, one weekend sitting down with your significant other or with your family and saying, hey guys, this year, we want to make this really enjoyable and do a little bit less. So let's go through our calendar. Everybody pick one thing you don't want to do this year that you feel compelled to that won't make you happy. Allowing yourself to have that reframe, like you don't have to operate at the clip that you did before or a month before or 6 months before. You can always decide to downshift. You can always decide to do a little bit less or do it in a different way. And that also compounds the space and the lack of stress and reduces that chaos that we all feel.
I so love that you brought this point up of doing less and slowing down, because the first examples we're giving is like, do more, clean this, do this, get the bleach out, get the toothbrush in the back of the fridge and get that little thing that's always been there for 2 years. Like, you know, but the reality is there's so many different ways. And I think that like anything, balance is key. And so even though you might be, you know, frantically cleaning all of these things, getting ready, it's also important to make space for you time. And so the single best thing that I think I have ever done, I started doing it like, I want to say 4 years ago, is I make Sunday my me day. And so what that means is that Sunday mornings, I will wake up and I will go for a long run. I walk the dogs and then I come back in and I make a couch bed, which now is actually my real bed because I'm still sleeping on the couch because construction is almost done.
I can't wait for you to be in a normal bed. I'm going to fly down there and fix it for you. Goodness.
I just don't do my laundry while you're here. So
I'll hide it from you. Don't worry.
Don't touch that. That was inefficient, Kendall.
I'll be like, hi, teach me. Yeah. Okay.
So I will close all the curtains downstairs. I will get my comfiest comforter and I will put on my softest sweats. I will throw my hair up in a bun
with a G-string.
Well, after I take I'll take an everything shower. I'll order some food. I'll get all cozy. Right by the time I'm done with the shower and I'm on the couch, the food is arriving and I just sit there and the room is like dark because all the curtains are closed. Mm-hmm. And I will find like an amazing series and I will literally binge it the whole day. Like Netflix will ask me 14 times, are you still watching? would you like to stop?
No.
Or would you like to continue? And I'm like, I've told you this every time. It's Sunday. Continue.
Do you have any guilt though when you have those lazy days?
No, because I ran in the morning,
Okay.
I don't feel guilt. If I don't run in the morning, in other words, I mean, we're being really real here. If I don't punish my body in some way, I don't feel like I deserve to just be like couch rot.
Oh.
But if I work out really hard and then I take a really great shower and I feel super clean and my muscles are tired, I feel like today is my day, and I will put my phone on silent. And what I just binged was Tell Me Lies. Oh my gosh. That show has me in a chokehold.
Annie told me last night I need to watch it. I'm like, okay, that
I know. I've been telling you.
I know.
I've been telling you.
I know.
About
And I
this.
keep literally the problem is, again, ADHD, and I'm blaming everything in my life on it, but it's kind of true. I go into Netflix and then I'm like, I see the 4 shows that I'm still currently working my way through, and I totally forget about Tell Me Lies. I totally forget.
I will bet right now that if you start Tell Me Lies, you'll forget about all those other shows.
Is that good?
You will. It has me in a chokehold. Season 2 finale just came out this past Wednesday, and I'm not even kidding. Before I hit play, I was looking so forward to Wednesdays.
Yeah.
Not because our podcast drops, but because new episodes of Tell Me Lies drops. And every Wednesday, I woke up so excited because I was going to get to watch a new episode. And this past Wednesday, I knew this was the season finale. And I literally, before I hit play, I had to have a moment of silence because this is the last time for a while that I'm going to get to have this on a Wednesday night, because they're filming the next season now, I guess. I'm literally sad watching it because I almost don't want to watch it so that I still have it to get to watch.
Oh, I get that. Yeah.
It's that good.
I want to take what you said and then kind of create a bit of a framework that I think would be really helpful. It's something I'm going to do too. And then we can go to some questions from with the community and like everybody who listens to Wholeheartedly, like what do they do to de-stress? But I want to reframe the punish your body. I know.
It's awful.
It's okay. Look, I think a lot of us who were athletes in college and in high school, we have that ideology because we were told you have to really hurt to be valuable. And like it's all about sacrifice, which isn't necessarily wrong. It's hard work, period. There's no trade-offs for that. But reframing that to, okay, maybe punish, but also maybe at the same time, like really challenge yourself and enjoy the challenge, because there is nothing better than a hard workout where you feel a little bit sore after and you feel that joy of like, wow, I really pushed myself in a healthy way and I feel the growth. Like I feel my body saying, oh, wow, we really did something. So I think a great framework when you're trying to reset your head is to do something that's going to push you physically, not overdone, but push you and challenge you physically so that you're out of your brain. And then you go to something that asks for your entire presence or attention. So first do the physical, let all the energy out, which this is very real with somatics and somatic healing. You want to move whatever the chaos or the trauma or the stress is in your body because it stores in the body. So moving it is a release. So then you purge that. And now you're retraining your brain after that to, we're going to create focused attention onto something. That can be binge watching a show if we're on a day where we need to rest and relax, and something that causes all of our focus. Put your phone in the other room. You don't need 2 screens simultaneously going. Just watch the movie or just do something else. Or sitting down and writing something active, sitting down and creating, whether that be, music or reading or something of that nature, or it could be something active where you're just focused on cleaning. But I think the balance is do something physical that challenges you, feel the joy of that, and then transition to something that causes all of your presence mentally. So you're hitting the physical, you're hitting the mental, and then you get to that point where you can relax and be more in your just general neutral state.
No, I mean, you literally just spelled out my exact Sunday. And if I'm not watching the movie, I'm cleaning first because I have to get these chores done, and then I'm watching the movie the rest of the day. But I do want to clarify, I don't think anybody should punish their body so that they don't feel guilty sitting on the couch. I was just saying that, like, do I feel guilty on the couch? And I'm like, no, because
you just kicked ass.
Took it out, like I just kicked ass.
Yeah.
But it is true. Like, it's left over from college, and it's and I don't go into it like, I'm going to punish my body now. Let's go on a run. It's like, okay, I'm going to work out really hard so that I'm tired. And then I can sit without restless leg syndrome and watch an entire series,
We literally just like DSM ourselves all day. Sometimes I feel like I know too much about too many like mental health issues and different disorders and things like that. I'm like, I don't know. Maybe this is just part of me being me. I just have all this weird jumble of everything, and we're all a little bit spicy in that way, and that's just how it rolls.
Wholeheartedly is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Let's face it, sometimes multitasking can be overwhelming. Like when your favorite podcast is playing and the person next to you is talking and your car fan is blasting, all while you're trying to find the perfect parking spot. But then again, sometimes multitasking is easy, like quoting with Progressive Insurance. They do the hard work of comparing rates so you can find a great rate that works for you, even if it's not with them. Give their nifty comparison tool a try, and you might just find getting the rate and coverage you deserve is easy. All you need to do is visit Progressive's website to get a quote with all the coverages you want, like comprehensive and collision coverage or personal injury protection. Then you'll see Progressive's direct rate, and their tool will provide options from other companies all lined up and ready to compare, so it's simple to choose the rate and coverages you like. Press play on comparing auto rates. Quote at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
This episode is brought to you by Opel, the first over-the-counter daily birth control pill available in the U.S. Opel is FDA approved, full prescription strength, and estrogen-free. Plus, there's no prescription needed. Finally, the days of needing a prescription for birth control are over. Opel is available online and at most major retailers. Take control of your health and reproductive journey with Opel. Birth control in your control. Use code BIRTHCONTROL for 25% off your first month of Opel at opel.com.
Cut the commute and up the convenience for your next dermatologist visit. Non-segmental vitiligo patients 12 and older can virtually discuss repigmentation with Opzelura ruxolitinib cream as soon as today. Get started on your pursuit for repigmentation with topical Opzelura. Visit Opzelura.com to connect with a derm to see if Opzelura is right for you. Provider availability may vary. For patients taking therapeutic biologics, other JAK inhibitors, or strong immunosuppressants such as cyclosporin, Opzelura is not recommended.
Opzelura can lower your ability to fight infections. Tell your doctor if you have or had an infection, TB, hepatitis B or C, blood clots in your legs or lungs, heart attack, stroke, cancer, high cholesterol, are a smoker, or pregnant. Opzelura may cause serious lung infections, certain cancers, immune system problems, blood clots, and low blood cell counts. Major cardiovascular events or death occurred in those 50 plus taking oral JAK inhibitors. The most common side effects were acne and itching where applied.
Call 866-564-8484 to learn more about prescription Opzelura for non-segmental vitiligo.
Okay, so I want to hit up the WIG, the Wholeheartedly Instagram. It's at WholeheartedlyPod. We ask you guys questions every week, and you give us amazing content. I will say the question that we asked for this episode was, what do you do for self-care and to help de-stress? And so many of you said the exact same things. It fell into one of these categories, or some of you said all of these in your response, but it was working out.
Yep.
So some sort of movement, or going on a walk in nature,
Yep.
something outside, like walking the dogs or just literally touching grass. A lot of you said cleaning. No shocker there. A lot of you said taking baths. A lot of you said getting really cozy and like comfortable on a couch and watching a series. And I was like, wow, we are all the same. Like, it's right. Like, there's no surprise that we're all here in this together, because we're all
Doing
so similar in our things that stress us out, how we handle things, and how we de-stress. So this one I want to read because I actually realized this was one for me that I never would have thought of organically. She said how she calms down and just has self-care and de-stresses: blow drying and styling my hair while listening to music, look good, feel good. And I was like, this is so true, because after I never blow dry my hair unless I have an event or need to be doing something. But like, I just put it in a ponytail and a braid, and I leave it wet like all day. I just try to keep it as healthy as possible. But I have found on my Sunday couch rot day,
Yep.
after I run and then shower, I will blow dry and full on straighten every strand of hair on my head because something about making my hair look nice, even before I put it up in a ponytail and then sitting on the couch, I feel calmer.
Oh, totally. Trust me. And girl, you have beautifully nice straight hair. As a curly girl who my hair, literally, I can wake up and it's going to be a rat's nest, or it's going to look literally like I was by the beach and it's stunning and you don't know what you're going to get. It is so true. Like, there's time, the way that your hair is can so make or break your energy and how you're feeling. So having styled hair, having like the skincare done, and just, it helps you feel pretty. Sometimes I will say, go get a blowout.
But word to the wise though, when you are getting your blowout, do not look in the mirror. I have never looked uglier than when I am sitting in that black tarp up around my neck.
Nobody looks cute
in bad lighting with wet hair. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, no.
Oh, I know.
This is not okay. I just keep your eyes closed the whole time.
Oh, yeah. The whole foil game, especially when I get my hair done. The girl that does my hair is amazing. She's at Beaumain. I will plug her all day. You guys, if you're in Los Angeles, you have to go to Beaumain Salon. Her name is Drea. She brings her dogs. Like, it doesn't get any better. It's heaven. And everybody works as a team. It's the most functional female run business I've ever seen, because
I love the efficiency.
Oh, Galey, next time we're both in LA together, you're going to go to Drea's and you're going to be just joyful on a cellular level, because 3 girls blow dry your hair at the same time.
What?
It is fantastic. So you can get a gloss, a split end treatment, proper blonding with something called albage, which is so much better, doesn't break your strands. And they use these, like, they're called beauty tech distribution. They're these like treatment devices. So that you're still styling your hair, but they're not heat damaging your hair. It is insane. She is literally the reason my hair is not like literally out of my head at the root. But it's a team of women. So you are literally put between different of the teammates, and every single one of them has incredible skills and they're beautiful and nice. And do you want any coffee? Can we get you wine? Can we get you it's glorious.
That sounds like my dream, like just being surrounded by a bunch of high functioning, efficient women, just kicking ass and making you look prettier. Like, does it get better than that?
It's heaven. And it's not like
dogs.
Oh, and dogs. There's they sit in your lap. Like Ruby, one of her dogs runs around and like checks that everybody's good. She'll like jump up in one of the chairs next to you and just sit and look at you. And she's like, pet me. And you're like, okay.
I love it. I need to go there. Okay, this is just a proof point that we are all the same person. So I'm just going to read 2 of them. Somebody wrote her way of de-stressing: a killer workout, then an everything shower, then candles, then fuzzy blanket, then couch, and good book. I mean, come on. Like, we're the same person. Here's another one: exercise, fresh air, and a great Netflix true crime doc.
Okay, we literally, hello, can we all hang out together? Because this, I feel so seen, and obviously this is what we all need. What we need to do, this is your prescription, you guys. You're listening to this. This is your doctor's orders. Okay, Kendall and Galey told you that Sunday, or pick a day depending on what your work schedule is and how it can go with the fam bam, but you are to do this. You are to go have a nice workout or a walk outside, whatever you're more in the mood for. You take your everything shower, and then you go and you binge watch something or you read a book on the couch. But the non-negotiable is there has to be candles involved. I am such a candle freak. It is stupid. I want my home to look like a obnoxious Catholic church in Italy. Like, everything has to be lit. And then I will tell you, Aesop, which I learned it's not Aesop, it's Aesop, the brand. I didn't realize that's how you said it. I got pwned. Like, I literally got owned when I walked in there. The guy that worked there was like, oh, it's Aesop. I was like, oh, it's not Aesop? He's like, it's Aesop. I was like, oh.
Oh, I didn't know that either.
Well, I didn't know. It's a great brand. I love it. Non-toxic stuff. They're fantastic. They have an incense that I bought for Alex and I. And bless his heart, he knows when I get the stressies, which is what we call it, when I get a little snippy and a little woo, like Kendall's on another level. I have the stressies. All of a sudden, I'm like up doing something around the corner on my laptop working on something. And I sniff. It is the most glorious smelling incense, and it's slow burn. And the coolest thing about it, it sits in the house for like 6 hours. You always smell it. So we'll leave, we'll go for a walk, we'll come back, and you open the front door and you're like, oh, I smell this beautiful smell. Guys, scent is so important for calming your nervous system. It is so important. Carry your oils with you. If you're crystal people, that's great. I think scent works 10 million times better. And I know you know this, Galey, because you are such a queen of your non-toxic perfumes and you're an ombre, which I have ordered. Thank you. Thank you for your code. It's so fire. But scent is really important. So make sure you're not skipping that step. It's vital.
It really is. It's about all your senses. So think about like scent, right? If your home is clean, it smells good, but also if you put a scent in it while it's clean, it smells even better. And then you think about touch. So that's why people are talking about like cozy blankets, and I put on my softest sweats and we get a big chunky comforter and just fall into it. I literally just fall into it and I sink down into the couch. And then you think about sight. So what are you looking at? Like for me, it's something that's going to allow me to completely be engrossed in whatever is happening and take me out of my own head for an entire series on a Sunday. And then you think about taste, right? Like I will order something great on Uber Eats and just like treat myself.
Wait, what do you order?
I'm obsessed with Panera bread and I dip it in their Fuji apple dressing. So like I like the baguette and then I like dipping it. So I'll get the salad, but I'll get extra of the Fuji apple and I buy them. Like I actually have them in my fridge as their own dressings. And I will dip it in it and like toast the bread a little bit. And it's so yummy. And then I get one of their chocolate chip cookies because they're so freaking good. They're so good.
I knew you were going to say cookies.
Yeah, chocolate chip cookie. And then like, I still have leftovers from Candygate when Dale and I broke up and you and Alex sent me literally hundreds of pounds of candy. I have so much candy in this house and I'm still working my way through it. Like, bring it on. So, and then I will just like eat candy or like kettle corn popcorn. I'll make some. And I just treat myself and it's so great. And I love that Kendall, Dr. Tool prescribed everybody listening with needing to do this. But we also can appreciate that you might go to church on Sunday mornings and that takes up like you're out till 2:00, or you have kids and you're traveling to soccer games or volleyball tournaments or what have you. They're in the finals. That's always on Sundays. Like if you have kids, when they go to school, say, okay, until they come home from school at 3:00 or whatever, this entire day is about me. I'm not doing anything today. I can do it later or I can do it tomorrow, but today is for me. And don't have any guilt about it, because the more you take care of yourself, the better and more capable you are of taking care of all the other people.
Yeah, totally. And this also can be something where, timing is timing and it is tough. And if you're a working mom and everyone's working and they're at school and there's all these things, even just two hours. Can you find 2 hours? You can get the workout done or whatever movement done. Do a great, like a HIIT workout. I have a bunch of little, oh my gosh, one that I posted on my Instagram. It's the glute one that you can do from home. When I tell you, so Sloan did it and so did Carlisle. We have the same team that we work with, guys, at WME, which is really fun. And she messaged me and she goes, "What did you do to me? This is amazing, but my butt hurts so bad in the best way. I'm so excited." There is a way where you can get a 20-minute workout and just feel so worked in a wonderful way, but not overdone. Then take the everything shower. Then take an hour or take 2 hours. Maybe it's reading. Maybe it's something that you're kind of cordoned off. Just create a sacred space for yourself. Because if you cannot honor the sacred parts of you, how are you supposed to see all of those other things out in the world? Right? Like we can't perceive the world other than what we know ourselves to be in it. So if you want to be more positive, if you want to be less stressed, trust me, I'm talking to myself here when I say this, which is most of my motivation is me talking to me, and it hopefully helps you, which it had for years. But to see the goodness and to see the gratitude and to be that lighter person, you have to start with yourself first and treating yourself in that way, and then you'll be able to recognize it outside. We have to train the brain and honor our bodies and honor our spiritual level self so that we can go and do that externally.
I love that. And is that butt workout, that's saved in your reels?
It is. Oh yeah, actually it is on
what outfit are you, or what's the cover photo so we can all find it easily?
I am wearing the lime green, actually it's called Yellow Serpentine. They're Lululemon aligned shorts and a white cropped Swiftly Tech long sleeve. I know you love your Swiftly Techs because you wear them all the time. And it was from, what day was it? It said 6 days ago, and I can't do mental math. So regardless, it was one of my most recent workout videos. So check that out. All of them will be saved there on my Instagram. They're free and they're gnarly because I miss training.
I'm so excited. I'm literally going to do it today because it was raining and I was like, oh, I don't want to go for a run. It's kind of nasty out. And so I was just going to do like abs and push-ups and stuff, like, and put a movie on. And because it's Sunday today, and we're just recording it on an off day. But normally I would already be in my binging episode right now. But I need to do a workout, so I'm literally going to do your workout today. I will, and I'll do a story about it. But in the meantime, the song title for this episode, I think it should be "So Fresh, So Clean" by Outkast. Because we're feeling fresh and we're feeling so clean and we're cleaning things.
Yes.
And we're feeling fresh and it's clean and it's fresh. Ooh. So fresh and so clean.
I love that song too. God, I love it.
It is such a good, that is a vibe.
No, let it fresh as it.
I'm just so fresh and clean.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay, yes, I'm down. I fully support. I couldn't think of one, so I'm so happy you had one at the top of mind.
I just thought of it. I was like, it needs to be about clean. And I was like, come clean. We already did that. Hillary Duff for Alex's coming out. Sounds like well, you know what I mean. And
coming out of the shadows, not the closet, guys.
Out of the shadows, not the closet. Not that
there's nothing wrong with coming out of the closet, but that man is straight.
But he's going into Kendall's closet.
Are we calling it a closet? It is a sacred space.
You know, it's sacred and it's so fresh and it's so clean. So we're going to go with "So Fresh and So Clean" by Outkast. And before you outcast me for these comments. Okay. Kendall, what are you working on this week as we wrap this episode up?
Honestly, I'm working on taking the advice I just gave to every single one of you about working through my stressies and being able to truly just like, I'm working on presence. I'm really going to time block moments where I put the phone, literally, it's got to be yeeted into another room, just far away, and just really focusing on staying present, whether it be in conversations that I'm having. I'm going to be in LA this week. There's literally so many meetings and a lot of things are going to be calling my attention. Very exciting, very cool, but kind of like, oof. So I'm like, listen, I want to be present and enjoy being back on the West Coast and just take it all in because my battery does get energized differently here and I'm already feeling it. And there's nothing greater than fixing the stressies than just recognizing where you are right now is exactly where you need to be. And that's valuable enough.
I think perspective, not to add on too much to what we already talked about, but yeah, perspective also helps. So if you're feeling really, really stressed about something, remember you could be getting the worst phone call of your life, that something bad just happened in the world or to somebody you love or your company's going under that you work for. There's a million things worse, chances are, than what is happening right now in this moment that is stressing you out. And that really helps bring it back to reality. And you're like, you know what? If these 10 things stressing me right now are the worst thing that happens to me this week, then life is fantastic.
Yep.
Because there will be a day where you wish to be back in this exact moment and those be your only stresses. So that grounds me a lot of times. Okay, what I'm working on is not saying the F word on the podcast because my mom's not happy about it.
You can say what you need to say. Be authentic to yourself. I respect
Mama Bear.
Mama Bear. I respect Mama Bear's opinion always. I always respect the moms, but also it's a word and it's an elevator. And I don't know.
I use it for emphasis.
I was allowed to say the F word growing up because we have a very exuberantly loud, fun, obnoxious family. So as long as I was saying the F word in context of like, oh my God, so fucking cool. Like I couldn't tell somebody to fuck off, but I could say this is fucking great or so fucking awesome. It was used like an adjective, like an elevator, not to, curse somebody, actually. I think intent.
I love that you just found a way to say it like 6 times.
I did.
But I got a Mama Bear text that was not so happy with the fact that I used the F
I'm
word.
sorry, Miss Crosby.
So I was like, look, I'm doing a podcast with my bestie who is a New York-based boxing fitness instructor. Like that is part of your
like,
origin story. Like you were like, that is who you are. And so I'm working on saying that less so that mom is happy and will start listening to the podcast again. And then the other thing I'm working on is I want to do a booty workout because I need it and it'll be different than all my runs. And I really want to feel sore again. So I'm doing the Kendall workout. I'm looking for that reel.
If there's one thing I'm good at, it's one thing I'm good at. Pre my Peloton days, I would make people isolate on the Peloton bike because I'm like, listen, this isn't going to do much for building the glutes unless we do it a proper way. However, I take pride in the fact that I can build anybody a butt. I can't build your boobs. They don't work that way. But I can build you an ass. And will I help you do it? Yes. And will it be a donk of a shelf? Yes. And it will fit your body. Okay. And your hamstrings and your glutes will go together because it's going to be natural and we can do it.
A shelf on my body frame might not look great, but
it'll be a natural shelf for you. It's not going to be a BBL. Like it's not going to look foreign. It's just going to be like, damn. It's just like, I love butt.
Yeah, I just want like a little perky, like, oh, it's cute. It's cute in those spandex. Yep. All right. Well, everybody, you can go find Kendall's workouts at on her Instagram and her TikTok at Kendall Tool. You can find all of my design videos and dog stuff at Galey Alex, and you can follow us both at Wholeheartedly Pod, where we post all of our questions every week. So make sure you have the notifications on for the stories so you can participate when you see those Q&A days. And I just thank you guys for giving us this space, and you help my mental health in ways that you don't even know when you send those DMs about, you know, what this podcast is doing for you. So thank you from the bottom of my whole heart.
Yes. And same, guys. The feeling is so mutual and so beautiful that we get to share life together and go through it all. One more thing, too. Please rate and subscribe. We want to know what you guys like, what you want more of, what we can give you more of, and stuff that might not be your jam. You can tell us that. This is a two-way conversation. We're really creating all of this for us to be able to stick together. So in your ratings, let us know what you love, what you want more of, things you want less of, and we'll listen to you and give it to you that way.
I co-sign all of that. Rate, subscribe, review, all of the things. It makes it possible for us to keep going.
Tell us the feedback. We want to know.
Yeah, we do.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Next week, do it with your whole heart and your booty.
Bye.
Bye.
Hi, I'm Lauren.
And I'm Chandler.
And we're the hosts of Pop Apologist Podcast, a weekly podcast devoted to celebrity gossip, Hollywood deep dives, Real Housewives drama, and anything and everything Taylor Swift.
We're two sisters who make no apologies for our love of pop culture and the fact that A-listers might mean more to us than each other.
Join us on your favorite podcast app every Wednesday for Pop Apologists.
Pop Apologists, your new favorite sister and celeb podcast.
This episode is brought to you by Opel, the first over-the-counter daily birth control pill available in the U.S. Opel is FDA approved, full prescription strength, and estrogen-free. Plus, there's no prescription needed. Finally, the days of needing a prescription for birth control are over. Opel is available online and at most major retailers. Take control of your health and reproductive journey with Opel. Birth control in your control. Use code BIRTHCONTROL for 25% off your first month of Opel at opel.com.
Cut the commute and up the convenience for your next dermatologist visit. Non-segmental vitiligo patients 12 and older can virtually discuss repigmentation with Opzelura ruxolitinib cream as soon as today. Get started on your pursuit for repigmentation with topical Opzelura. Visit Opzelura.com to connect with a derm to see if Opzelura is right for you. Provider availability may vary. For patients taking therapeutic biologics, other JAK inhibitors, or strong immunosuppressants such as cyclosporin, Opzelura is not recommended.
Opzelura can lower your ability to fight infections. Tell your doctor if you have or had an infection, TB, hepatitis B or C, blood clots in your legs or lungs, heart attack, stroke, cancer, high cholesterol, are a smoker, or pregnant. Opzelura may cause serious lung infections, certain cancers, immune system problems, blood clots, and low blood cell counts. Major cardiovascular events or death occurred in those 50 plus taking oral JAK inhibitors. The most common side effects were acne and itching where applied.
Call 866-564-8484 to learn more about prescription Opzelura for non-segmental vitiligo. Cut the commute and up the convenience for your next dermatologist visit. Non-segmental vitiligo patients 12 and older can virtually discuss repigmentation with Opzelura ruxolitinib cream as soon as today. Get started on your pursuit for repigmentation with topical Opzelura. Visit Opzelura.com to connect with a derm to see if Opzelura is right for you. Provider availability may vary. For patients taking therapeutic biologics, other JAK inhibitors, or strong immunosuppressants such as cyclosporin, Opzelura is not recommended.
Opzelura can lower your ability to fight infections. Tell your doctor if you have or had an infection, TB, hepatitis B or C, blood clots in your legs or lungs, heart attack, stroke, cancer, high cholesterol, are a smoker, or pregnant. Opzelura may cause serious lung infections, certain cancers, immune system problems, blood clots, and low blood cell counts. Major cardiovascular events or death occurred in those 50 plus taking oral JAK inhibitors. The most common side effects were acne and itching where applied.
Call 866-564-8484 to learn more about prescription Opzelura for non-segmental vitiligo.
New markdowns up to 70% off are at Nordstrom Rack stores now. From fresh kicks to perfect gifts, there's always a find.
Levi's, Page, Frame, all the best denim.
Why do I rack? Because check out these boots.
I always score at Rack.
Head to your Nordstrom Rack store to find amazing deals on all things winter. Great brands, great prices. That's why you rack.